Reverend Thomas E. Gilmore, honoured with Courthouse Square named in his honour in Greene County. More than 300 people turned out in Greene County Saturday, October the 12th for the dedication of the County Courthouse Square, named in honour of Reverend Thomas Earl Gilmore, the county's first black sheriff, and now pastor of First Baptist Church, Hensley, for 30 years. The historic event included proclamations and presentations by some of the state's well-known political officials and dignitaries from the state's civil rights movement. Reverend Thomas E. Gilmore is the greatest because he is a servant of all. And there he is.
Ain't gonna let nobody, Lordy, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody, Lordy, turn me round. Keep on a walking, Lordy, keep on a talking, Lordy, marching up the freedom land. Ain't gonna let segregation, Lordy, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let segregation, Lordy, turn me round and keep on a walking, yeah, keep on a talking, yeah, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse, Lordy, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse turn me round. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to.
This church is historic, and that Dr. King's brother, A.D. King, his only brother, pastored here while the civil rights movement was going on here. Oh. His brother was the pastor here, and left pretty much immediately after the movement kind of shifted gears and went to Selma. And it is, I've been blessed in this, that before I came here, I pastored a church in Demopolis that had been pastored by Rap Abernathy. So I don't know who I'm waiting on. I guess I'll follow King David next time.
I was going to ask you how this felt.
You're the first one to show me this. Right. I haven't seen it. I got to go run and pick this up. Where you got this from?
This is the Birmingham Times.
Ah, we
got this in downtown Birmingham.
I'll go buy them out. Oh, okay. I'm Thomas R. Gilmore Sr. I know Chuck. I knew him first as a lawyer for my friends to help get ballot position for us in Greene County. And eventually I knew him as my friend, he and his family. He was the chief speaker when I was inaugurated on January 18th, 1971, Greene County, Alabama, Eutaw, Alabama. And I see he says, do justice. Justice is simple fairness. And to you, Thomas E. Gilmore, the duty of equal law enforcement has passed. Do justice. Justice is simple fairness. We became the first county to have a total control of this county. We had control of the Board of Education and the county government. So, and he helped us to do that. So he became a friend of ours. He told me one time, Gilmore, don't try to be too handsome, man. You can't be handsome and smart at the same time. I said, well, Chuck, go ahead. You take that care of that part that you do. I'll worry about the other thing. Just a great guy. I really do miss Chuck. This guy represented a dynasty. He was the sheriff that Chuck helped me to defeat. Well, Chuck got me ballot position. And his family had been in the sheriff's office for about, at the time he was defeated, I think they had 54 years. And when I worked for SLC, that's what I did. God, I don't know what happened to my hair. I was a community organizer in my county. I worked for Dr. King, and they assigned me first to my own county. And this is what I did. I organized marches and picketed, trying to get loosen up the right to vote there, trying to get people registered. That's Greene County, 1965. Now I was beaten by this guy. here, assaulted one of my picketers, teenager, and I was trying to get the sheriff to arrest one of his deputies in 1965.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought I was crazy. I mean, well, what's the matter with you? This don't happen. And so they wouldn't do anything, and I marched on I took about 20 people and packed the local district attorney's office. And boy, did they do something then. He came in with his big walking stick. He was 350, 375 pounds. And he's a pretty powerful fella, and you could ask this shoulder and this side of the head, and everything. This guy got strong arms. And if I had not been in, he came in a door, and I'm all the way over here, and we crowded in, and he really was after me. I was the leader. And so he had to give up a lot in order to make his strength. If he could have gotten it right kind of stuff, he could really mess me up. Could have probably killed me with that big stick he was using. Texas is about 100 years old, 113. 113. And you can see that they distinguished back in that day First Baptist Colored Church.
Oh, it's still there.
Back even as late as 1926. It's just Alabama at its best in those days. So I go over from my grandmother. I came really back to my grandmother's house in California. She's just so deep into my life. And I went over to Demopolis, which is the convenient town from where I live. And we got over there and saw a friend at a service station. God, I'm gonna cut into the service station. I'm going down 80, which is gonna take you to Selma. And the troopers come in west, headed toward Mississippi. And we both pull off at the service station. I go toward the pump. He goes outside for just a bit. And mud splashes up on his car, my wheel, with a puddle. And it gets on his car and up on his arm. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was World War III. And the other trooper came and said, hey, we gotta go. This nigga don't worth us getting and wasting our time with, or something to that effect. And the trooper that was harassing me said, I know where you're going. Well, my car was pointed in the direction of Selma. I had a beard, I had on beard overalls, and looked like what I was not. He assumed I was and I had California license plate. And the beating that I talked to you about, and the local district attorney, they decided that I would be sheriff. James Orange said, here's what we do. Here's how we handle Big Bill Lee, and that's what we call the guy on the sheriff. He said, here's what we do. We make Gilmore sheriff. And that's really the first time I ever heard that. What am I, 23 years old? Never dreamed about that. And in fact, I thought this guy must be drinking to bring up some idea like this. Reverend Branch never let it go. Everywhere he went. They started talking about my vision of the future. And looking now, I can see this black sheriff driving up this. And I thought, oh my God, this guy's lost his way too. But I think when I really serious about that office, that's when I felt that they had stolen it from me in 1966. I knew we had that election won, and they took it away. It was a high moment when I became a staff member of Dr. King's organization and got to greet him and got to drive him around across the part of the Black Belt. It was a big moment. In 1968, well, I really met him in 66 when he came to help me to try to get elected. I became aware of how important Dr. King was hours after he was murdered. That's when I really thought about it. That's when I really thought about his work. next day I started to think about what we had and what we wouldn't have again and what it meant. So I did a lot of thinking the next few days. Between then, 2 days later, the staff drove up to Memphis. All of his staff drove up to Memphis. And for that period, until I buried him, I guess I just started thinking what we really had, how blessed I was to be involved with it, and where to from here. It's breaking news. Fire up that camera over there. I think what Chuck has done in times past, and particularly in the election, just before me and my election, opened the door to have an African-American president in this country. I think we're the first to prove that we can take that vote, that hard-fought and victorious vote that we have, and put it to work. And then you can elect a Thomas Gilmore or the guy who's just before him. And if it can be in a tough county where they've mandated for 54 years one family, and others have done the same. If you can do that in 1966, 1968, 1970, you can surely do it when it's time for Barack Obama to become president of the United States. And that's exactly how I feel.
In one afternoon, 50 years ago, so much of our turbulent history, the stain of slavery and anguish of civil war, the yoke of segregation and tyranny of Jim Crow, the death of 4 little girls in Birmingham, and the dream of a Baptist preacher. All that history met on this bridge. Their faith was questioned, their lives were threatened, their patriotism challenged. And yet, what could be more American than what happened in this place?
Ain't gonna let no nervous Nelly Lordy turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no nervous Nelly Lordy turn me round. Keep on walking, yeah, keep on talking, yeah, marching up to freedom, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to meet you.
God bless you.